Hello there. In this video lesson, I'm going to give you some expressions of giving advice or suggestions. So let's continue watching. Okay, some expressions for giving advice or suggestion. First of all, let's listen to this doctor and patient giving advice. Let's listen to the audio first.
Tape script 8.9. At the doctor's.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I haven't felt well for a few days. I've had a bad headache, and now I've got a sore throat.
Any sickness or diarrhea?
Well, I haven't been sick.
Do you feel hot?
Yes, especially at night. I feel hot and I start coughing when I lie down.
Okay, I'll just take your temperature. Yes, you do have a bit of a fever.
Huh?
Now, let me see your throat. Open your mouth wide, please.
Oh. Can you see anything?
Yes, your throat looks very red. Does this hurt?
Oh,
And your glands are swollen. You just have a bit of an infection. You need antibiotics. Are you allergic to penicillin?
no, I'm not.
Good. Now, you should take things easy for a couple of days, and you must drink plenty of liquids. I'll write you a prescription.
Thank you. Do I have to pay you?
No, but you'll have to pay for the prescription. It's £7.20.
Right. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
You can see here the doctor and the patient. First, the doctor checked the patient's situation, examine, okay, what's wrong with him. And then she gave some suggestion or advice. Now, you can hear that one, but not only that, we can use a lot of expression for giving advice or suggestion. Some of them are listed here. So first of all, see, you can use should or ought to, okay? Or must, had better, if I were you, why don't you, or try, and verb ing, right? Try doing something. So we can use different kind of expression for giving advice and suggestions. So let's look at one by one. First of all, you see here should and ought to. They express advice. So should expresses the opinion of the speaker, and it is often introduced by I think or I don't think you should. This is the opinion of the speaker, the one who gives advice. That's why usually we begin with I think or I don't think, okay? Example sentences, let's see. I think you should learn English. You need it for your job. This is my opinion. So I said, I think you should learn English. I think that this is good for you. Or I don't think you should buy a new phone. You already have one. I don't think you should buy. We said, I don't think. We don't say, I think you shouldn't buy, but the negative form is with I don't think, okay? So the meaning of should and ought to are more or less the same, but if you look at here, ought to, you need to, okay? And infinitive. You ought to get up early to avoid the rush hour. You ought to get up. We use to get up. Or negative form would be, you ought not to dress casually for your interview. You ought not to dress casually for your interview. That means you should wear smart, okay? So the first one, should, ought to. Let's move on to number 2. You can also use must for giving advice, but must is a stronger advice. Usually it's, okay, we use for something, we use must for other things also, but if you use for other things, it can be a little bit strong and it can be like giving order. But remember here, we use not as giving order, but we use for advice, strong advice or suggestion. Example, you must see Three Idiots. Three Idiots is a video, you get very good video. I'm sure you love it. You must see. That is a strong advice. I want you to see it and I'm sure you would like it, okay? So by using must here, the people will not get hurt. They will not feel offended. They'll not feel like giving, ordered. But they will think, oh, my friend has a very good intention for me. Okay, that's why you call it strong advice. You must stop chewing betel nut. It can cause cancer. You must stop. Strong advice. That means if you don't stop, something bad will happen to you or to your health. The third one is using had better. Had better is also strong advice. So this expresses stronger advice than should. Should is something good, right? But had better, if you don't do it, something bad will happen. Something like that. For example, our train leaves in 30 minutes, so we had better go to the station now. But when we speak, usually we say, we use the short form or the contraction form or had better. And usually we say, like, for example, our train leaves in 30 minutes, so we'd better go. We'd better go. We don't say we had better go word by word. We just say we'd better go. Okay. So we'd better go to the station now. Next one is you had better take a taxi. If you don't want to be late for the meeting, you'd better take a taxi. Okay. Better, had better, right? Very often when people speak, it is difficult to notice that they use had better. Had. We just hear something like better, you better. But actually there is a word had. You'd better. And the following is another one is also if I were you, I would. We know that this is the second conditional, but we also use for suggestion. If I were you, I would. In Burmese, usually we say, ngata ne niyama suyin, ngata ne lumu achinima shime suyin dilululome. Okay, no? So second conditional, but used for giving advice too. If I were you, I wouldn't buy that laptop. It's too expensive. If I were you, I wouldn't buy it. Or I would see a doctor if I were you. This is my advice. Okay, my advice. And next one is, why don't you? This start with the question, what, why? And many people think that this is asking about why question, and you try to answer in because answer, but actually it is not about asking question. It is about giving advice. So don't answer with because. Remember that this is advice. I'm too busy. I have to do all the housework and have to go to work. Somebody complained like this. And you said, why don't you get a maid then? Why don't you get a maid then? A maid is engpo, okay? Engpo, a helper. So you just said, why don't you get a maid then? The same thing you say, you should get a maid, okay? This is advice. Next, I feel so hot in here. I feel so hot in here. And you said, why don't you open the window? That means open the window. If you feel hot, why don't you open the window? This is also advice. The last you can use advice is try. Okay, the verb try and verb ing. Usually we use this one. When you use this one, this means it's a kind of experiment. Tried it. It may be good, may not be good. Okay, but tried it. Do it as an experiment. Example, I can't sleep at night. Somebody say, I can't sleep at night. And you give advice. Try sleeping at regular time. Try sleeping at regular time. It sometimes helps. Try sleeping. Okay, verb ing. Try plus verb ing. Or the next one could be, I can't get through to Mr. Peter. I have tried many times and it always says engage. You try to call Mr. Peter, but you can't get it through. That means you can't get it. It's say busy or engaged or like that. You have tried many times. And your friend said, try calling his mobile phone. Try calling his mobile phone. This is also another advice. So we have just talked about different kind of advice, giving advice. I think there are about 6, right? So when you give advice, try to change them. Very often people use should all the time, but should is not the only way you can give, you can use different expression for giving advice. Okay, I think this is helpful for you. If you think this is helpful, please like, and if you want, you can share our page. Thank you very much. See you again soon.